Audiobook The Golden Gaze by the Third Library. Introduction: The most expensive currency. There exists within the structure of language itself a confession so profound that humanity has spoken it for centuries without comprehension. We say that we pay attention, not give, not offer, not share. We pay. This is the linguistic fingerprint of a universal law that governs the architecture of reality itself. Attention is currency. It is the golden coin minted in the forge of consciousness, and it purchases absolutely everything that appears in your experience. You are walking through existence with a wallet full of the most valuable resource in the cosmos, and you are spending it unconsciously, recklessly, funding the very nightmares you pray to escape. Consider the mathematics of your day. Where did you invest your attention? Did you scroll through catastrophes on your device, purchasing disaster after disaster with your gaze? Did you replay the argument from yesterday, buying another unit of resentment? Did you examine your body in the mirror with disgust, signing a contract for more unworthiness? Every second of focus is a transaction. Every moment of sustained observation is a down payment on manifestation. You are not a passive witness to your life. You are the central banker, and your reality is nothing more than the portfolio of your past investments. Most human beings are spiritually bankrupt. They stand in the checkout line of existence, bewildered by the items in their cart, claiming they never wanted these things. But the receipt tells a different story. The universe is a perfect accountant. It delivers exactly what you have funded. If your life is saturated with drama, you are a drama investor. If your relationships are toxic, you have been writing checks to toxicity. If your bank account is empty, you have been staring at the emptiness rather than at abundance. The ledger does not lie. The Golden Gaze is not a book about positive thinking or wishful fantasy. It is an investment manual for the soul. It is the revelation that you are standing at the controls of a quantum machine, and the primary lever is the direction of your eyes. Where you look, you create. What you focus upon, you multiply. What you ignore, you annihilate. This is not metaphor. This is the mechanics of manifestation, the economics of existence, the brutal and beautiful truth that you are funding your heaven or your hell with every waking moment. The masters throughout history understood this principle, though they encoded it in parables and koans. Seek and ye shall find is an economic statement. You will find what you seek because seeking is sustained observation, and sustained observation is investment capital. Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also, is a warning about attention allocation. Your treasure is not your money. Your treasure is your gaze. Whatever you treasure with your eyes, your heart follows, and your reality manifests around that axis. This audiobook will teach you to become the quantum investor. You will learn to audit your attention, to identify the hemorrhaging accounts where you have been pouring your life force into decay. You will learn the art of starvation, the method by which you withdraw funding from your enemies and watch them collapse from lack of nourishment. You will learn to wield your gaze like a magnifying glass, capable of setting fire to your desires through concentrated focus. You will learn the difference between peripheral acknowledgement and central investment, so that you can handle the unwanted without feeding it. The world you inhabit is not solid. It is probability held in suspension, waiting for the collapse of observation to crystallize into form. You are not discovering your reality. You are authoring it, sentence by sentence, investment by investment, gaze by gaze. The question is not whether you have this power. The question is whether you will take responsibility for how you have been wielding it. The Golden Gaze is your invitation to financial sovereignty in the economy of the soul. Humanity suffers because it does not understand wealth management. You have been taught to manage your money, but no one taught you to manage your attention. You have been trained to budget your dollars while hemorrhaging your life force on every passing tragedy, every sensational headline, every bitter memory. You are a billionaire living like a beggar because you do not recognize your own currency. This book is the revelation of your wealth and the instruction manual for its proper investment. The price of ignorance is immense. Every moment you spend focused on lack, you are compounding lack with interest. Every hour you dedicate to worry, you are accruing worry in your reality portfolio. The universe does not judge your choices, it simply honors them. It is the most faithful servant imaginable, delivering precisely what you have ordered through the direction of your gaze. If you are dissatisfied with the delivery, you must examine the order you placed. What follows is not theory. It is a sequence of operational protocols designed to transform your relationship with attention from unconscious spending to strategic investment. You will learn to see your life as a balance sheet, where every thought is an entry, every emotion is a transaction, and every sustained focus is a transfer of funds. You will learn to become the CFO of your consciousness, allocating resources with precision and withdrawing support from anything that does not serve your highest vision. The golden gaze is named for the touch of King Midas, who turned everything he touched into gold. Your gaze is that touch. Everything you look upon with sustained appreciation increases in value. Everything you examine with love multiplies. Everything you observe with gratitude expands. You have been using this power in reverse, touching your blessings with complaint and watching them turn to dust. This audiobook is the reversal of the curse, the reclamation of the gift. You are about to learn the most valuable skill in existence: attention sovereignty. You will learn to guard the gates of your perception, to curate your visual diet, to practice the discipline of focus that separates the master from the slave. The master knows where he looks. The slave is blown by every wind, captured by every flashing screen, hypnotized by every crisis. The master builds empires of beauty. The slave funds disasters with his gaze and wonders why his life is a catastrophe. Welcome to the third library, where the books write themselves in the reader. This is not information to be consumed. It is a protocol to be executed. You are not here to learn. You are here to remember what you have always known, but have been trained to forget, that you are the banker, the investor, the financier of your own existence. Stop writing checks to your nightmares. It is time to audit your attention and redirect your wealth toward the life you were meant to manifest. Begin now with a simple inventory. Where did your eyes go today? What did you purchase with your gaze? What did you fund with your focus? The answer to those questions is the blueprint of your tomorrow. If you do not like what you see coming, change what you are looking at. The golden gaze is the way. The universe is waiting for your investment. It is holding space for your vision, preparing to deliver whatever you have funded with sufficient consistency. The only question that remains is this: what will you choose to capitalize? What will receive the full weight of your observation? What will you nourish with the golden currency of your attention? The answer to that question is the answer to your life. Chapter 1: The Quantum Investor. In the laboratories of quantum physics, scientists discovered something that shattered the illusion of objective reality. They found that observation itself changes the behavior of matter. A particle exists in a state of probability, a cloud of potential until it is observed. The moment a conscious observer directs attention toward it, the wave function collapses, and the particle appears in a definite location. This is not philosophy. This is repeatable, measurable fact. The observer does not discover the particle. The observer creates the particle through the act of observation. You are that observer. Your reality is not a stage you walk upon. It is a canvas you paint with your gaze. Every moment you are collapsing probability into actuality through the direction of your attention. You look at your empty bank account, and in that act of looking, you collapse the wave of financial possibility into the particle of continued emptiness. You look at your ailing body, and you crystallize illness into form. You look at your troubled relationship, and you manifest more trouble. You are not witnessing these things. You are creating them through sustained observation. This is the principle of quantum investment. Your attention is the catalyst that transforms potential into manifestation. In the quantum field, all possibilities exist simultaneously. There is a version of you that is wealthy. There is a version of you that is healthy. There is a version of you that is loved and celebrated. These are not fantasies. They are real probability waves floating in the ocean of potential. The question is, which one are you collapsing into form with your gaze? Most people are unconscious investors. They direct their attention based on habit, conditioning, and reaction. They wake up and immediately check their problems. They scan the news for catastrophes. They rehearse their grievances. They examine their limitations, and with each act of observation, they are casting a vote in the quantum election, telling the universe, "This, I choose this, deliver more of this." And the universe, being the faithful servant it is, obliges without question or judgment. Your current reality is a portfolio of your past investments. Look around you. Every circumstance, every relationship, every condition in your life is the compounded result of where you have been directing your attention. If you are surrounded by struggle, it is because you have been a struggle investor. If you are immersed in lack, you have been funding lack with your focus. This is not blame. This is mechanics. You have been operating the machine without knowing the manual, and the machine has been producing exactly what you programmed it to produce. The quantum investor understands that reality is not fixed. It is fluid, responsive, and infinitely malleable. The solid appearance of the world is an illusion created by consistent observation. The table appears solid because billions of people are agreeing to observe it as solid. But your personal reality, the circumstances of your life, are not under consensus control. They are under your control. You alone are the observer of your bank account, your health, your relationships. No one else is collapsing those waves. You are. This means you have absolute power. It also means you have absolute responsibility. You cannot blame your circumstances on external forces when you are the one directing the quantum spotlight. The economy did not make you poor. Your sustained attention on poverty made you poor. Your genetics did not make you sick. Your sustained attention on symptoms made you sick. Your partner did not make you unhappy. Your sustained attention on their flaws made you unhappy. The observer creates the observed. The revolution begins when you accept this truth. You are not a victim of reality. You are the author of it. Every second, you are choosing what to invest in. Every moment, you are deciding what receives the golden currency of your consciousness. This is the most empowering and most terrifying realization you will ever have, because it strips away every excuse and places the pen of authorship directly in your hand. Now consider the implications for transformation. If you want to change your reality, you do not need to manipulate external conditions. You need to change your observation patterns. You need to redirect your gaze. You need to withdraw investment from the old story and begin funding the new one. This is not about denying facts. This is about understanding that facts are crystallized observations, and new observations create new facts. The quantum investor practices selective observation. He knows that wherever he directs his attention, he is signing a contract with the universe. He audits his focus throughout the day. He asks, am I investing in my vision, or am I investing in my fear? He recognizes that every minute spent worrying is a minute of capital transferred to the worry account, accruing compound interest in anxiety. Every minute spent imagining success is a deposit into the success account, gathering momentum toward manifestation. You have been trained to monitor your problems. You have been taught that responsible people face reality, which usually means staring at everything that is wrong. This is the fastest way to multiply what is wrong. The quantum investor does not face problems. He faces solutions. He does not examine limitations. He examines possibilities. He does not rehearse failure. He visualizes victory, not because he is delusional, but because he understands the mechanics of creation. The wave function collapses in the direction of observation. This is the law. If you observe poverty, poverty solidifies. If you observe wealth, wealth solidifies. If you observe illness, illness solidifies. If you observe health, health solidifies. You cannot observe one thing and create another. The universe does not interpret your intentions. It responds to your attention. Where your eyes go, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, manifestation grows. This is why the masses remain trapped in cycles of struggle. They observe their struggle, which creates more struggle, which they observe more intensely, which creates even more struggle. It is a feedback loop of negative investment, compounding into catastrophe. The quantum investor breaks the loop by withdrawing his gaze from the problem and placing it on the solution. He starves the beast by refusing to look at it. Understanding this principle is not enough. You must practice it. You must become vigilant about where your attention lands. You must treat your gaze as sacred, as the most valuable thing you possess, because it is. You would not throw your money into a fire, yet you throw your attention into chaos every day. You would not invest your savings into a failing company, yet you invest your focus into failing narratives about yourself. The transformation begins with the decision to become a conscious investor, to audit every glance, every stare, every sustained focus. To ask yourself constantly, is this observation funding my dream or my nightmare? And then to have the discipline to redirect your gaze when you catch yourself investing in the nightmare. This is the practice. This is the work. This is the art of the quantum investor. You are standing at the control panel of a reality-generating machine. The primary dial is labeled direction of attention. It has been set to problems for most of your life, and the machine has been faithfully producing problems. Now you are being given the manual. You are learning that you can turn the dial to solutions, to abundance, to health, to love. And when you do, when you hold it there with unwavering focus, the machine will begin producing those instead. The observer is not passive. The observer is the most active force in the universe. You are not watching your life unfold. You are authoring it with your eyes. Every scene you focus on becomes a chapter. Every image you hold becomes a page. The story of your life is being written by the direction of your gaze. If you do not like the story, do not rewrite the past. Redirect the gaze. The next chapter is being written right now in this moment by what you choose to observe. This is the foundation. This is the bedrock upon which all manifestation is built. You are the quantum investor, and your attention is your capital. The market of reality is open 24 hours a day, waiting for your investment decisions. What will you fund today? What will you capitalize with your consciousness? What will you bring into form through the alchemy of sustained observation? The answer to that question is the answer to your destiny. Choose wisely, invest deliberately, and remember, the wave function always collapses in the direction of the observer's gaze. You are that observer. Your reality is your portfolio. Manage it like the quantum investor you were born to be. Chapter 2. The Art of Starvation. There is a law of nature so simple that children understand it, yet adults seem to forget. Whatever you do not feed will die. A plant without water withers. A fire without fuel extinguishes. A body without food wastes away. This law applies to everything in existence, including your problems. Every issue in your life, every obstacle, every limitation is a living entity that requires your attention to survive. The moment you stop feeding it with your gaze, it begins to starve. And when something starves long enough, it dies. This is the art of starvation, the most powerful weapon in the arsenal of manifestation. You cannot fight your problems into submission. Fighting is a form of intense focus, and focus is food. When you battle against something, you are actually nourishing it with premium attention. You are giving it your life force, your emotional energy, your mental bandwidth. The problem grows stronger with every punch you throw. The war against poverty makes you poorer. The war against disease makes you sicker. The war against loneliness makes you more isolated. Resistance is fertilizer. The master knows a different way. He does not fight the weed. He withdraws water from it. He does not argue with the problem. He ignores it into non-existence. This is not denial. This is strategic resource allocation. You have a finite amount of attention each day, and every problem in your life is competing for that resource. When you refuse to grant it, when you turn your gaze elsewhere, the problem begins to suffocate. It may flail for your attention, it may scream, but if you hold your gaze steady on something else, it will eventually collapse from starvation. Consider a child throwing a tantrum. If you react, if you engage, if you give the tantrum your full attention, what happens? The tantrum intensifies. The child learns that tantrums work. But if you calmly look away, if you withdraw your attention completely, the tantrum loses power. It cannot sustain itself without the fuel of your focus. Within minutes, it dies. Your problems are that child. They are tantrums of reality, begging for your attention. And you have been rewarding them with your gaze, training them to return stronger and louder. The art of starvation requires a kind of ruthlessness. You must be willing to look directly through your problems as if they are ghosts. You must train your eyes to slide past them without catching, without engaging, without granting them the dignity of your focus. This does not mean you become irresponsible. It means you handle what must be handled with mechanical efficiency, giving it only peripheral attention, while reserving your central gaze for your vision. Imagine you receive a bill you cannot pay. The old way would be to stare at it with anxiety, to obsess over the number, to replay scenarios of failure in your mind. Each moment of that focus is a deposit into the financial crisis account, guaranteeing its expansion. The new way is this. You glance at the bill, you note the information, and then you immediately redirect your gaze to the vision of abundance. You see the money coming. You feel the relief. You imagine the payment made. You starve the crisis by refusing to give it more than a moment of acknowledgement, while you feast the solution with sustained attention. This is not positive thinking. This is attention economics. You are rationing your consciousness, refusing to spend your currency on disaster. You are learning to be miserly with your worry, stingy with your fear, frugal with your doubt. These emotions are expensive. They cost you everything, and they purchase nothing but more of themselves. The quantum investor does not invest in loss. He withdraws funds from failing ventures and redirects them toward profitable ones. The problem will protest your withdrawal. It will send signals to capture your attention. Pain will intensify. Circumstances will worsen temporarily. This is the death rattle, the final attempt to pull you back into investment. If you break here, if you flood the problem with attention to deal with the emergency, you have reset the cycle. You have taught the problem that escalation works. But if you hold firm, if you maintain your gaze on the solution while handling the problem mechanically, the problem will eventually exhaust its tantrum and begin to dissolve. Consider a chronic pain in your body. The conventional approach is to focus on the pain, to examine it, to give it names and diagnoses, to research it obsessively. Every act of attention is feeding the pain, giving it substance, solidifying it into your reality. The art of starvation would have you acknowledge the pain without dwelling on it. You feel it, you note it, and then you immediately direct your attention to the feeling of vitality, of health, of the body as you wish it to be. You starve the pain by refusing to give it the spotlight of your consciousness. This practice is uncomfortable at first because you have been conditioned to believe that paying attention to problems is responsible behavior. You have been taught that ignoring problems makes them worse. This is backwards. Ignoring problems in terms of practical action is irresponsible, but ignoring problems in terms of emotional investment is liberation. You can pay a bill without emotionally merging with poverty. You can take medicine without identifying as sick. You can acknowledge a challenge without making it the center of your universe. The metaphor of the plant is perfect. If you have a garden with one rose and one weed, and you give all your water to the weed, what happens? The weed flourishes and the rose dies. This is what most people do with their attention. They water their problems until the problems are lush and overwhelming, while their dreams wither from neglect. The art of starvation is about redirecting the water. Stop watering the weeds. Let them die of thirst. Pour all your water on the roses. Watch them bloom. Every tradition speaks of this principle in coded language. Turn the other cheek is not about passivity. It is about withdrawing attention from offense. Resist not evil is not about accepting injustice. It is about refusing to feed darkness with your focus. Judge not is not about moral relativism. It is about not giving your attention to the flaws and failures of others, because that attention creates more of what you are observing. The masters were teaching the art of starvation, but the world mistranslated it as weakness. The practice is simple but demands discipline. Throughout your day, you will encounter problems, bills, conflicts, news, symptoms, complaints. Each one will bid for your attention. The untrained consciousness grants attention automatically, unconsciously. The trained consciousness pauses and asks, "Do I want more of this? Am I willing to invest in this?" And if the answer is no, the gaze is withdrawn. Not suppressed, not denied, simply redirected toward what you do want to invest in. This is how you kill a problem, not by fighting it, not by analyzing it, not by recruiting others to discuss it, but by starving it of the only resource it needs to exist, your attention. A problem without attention is like a fire without oxygen. It may flicker for a moment, but it cannot sustain itself. It collapses into the probability wave from which it came, waiting for another observer to collapse it into form. But that observer does not need to be you. You are learning to be selective, discerning, strategic with your gaze. You are learning that your attention is too valuable to waste on decay. You are learning that every problem is a vampire, and your focus is the blood it craves. The art of starvation is the practice of garlic and crosses, the tools that keep the vampire at bay. You do not engage. You do not invite it in. You let it wither outside your door while you feast on vision inside. This takes practice. You will fail repeatedly at first. You will find yourself drowning in worry, obsessing over obstacles, rehearsing disaster. When you catch yourself, do not judge. Simply redirect, over and over 10,000 times if necessary. Starve the problem. Feed the solution. Withdraw the gaze from what you do not want. Direct it toward what you do. This is the art. This is the practice. This is the way of the master. The problem is not your enemy. Your attention is your enemy when it is misdirected. The problem is simply a manifestation of past focus, a crystallized investment from yesterday. But today, you are making new investments. Today, you are withdrawing funding from the old story and capitalizing the new one. Today, you are practicing the art of starvation, and with each moment of redirected focus, you are watching your problems collapse into the void from which they emerged. Starvation is love. It is the most compassionate thing you can do for yourself. You are not ignoring your problems out of fear. You are refusing to feed them out of wisdom. You know that every moment of focus is a vote, a contract, a transaction with the universe. And you are choosing, consciously and deliberately, to invest in beauty, in health, in abundance, in love. Everything else can starve. Let it. Watch it wither. And walk forward into the reality you are funding with your golden gaze. This is the second law of quantum investment. Whatever you do not observe does not exist in your reality. If you stop looking at your problems, they lose substance. They become ghosts, shimmering possibilities that never collapse into form. This is not magic. This is mechanics. This is the art of starvation. Master it and you master manifestation. You are no longer a victim to circumstance. You are a financial manager of consciousness, allocating resources with precision. And your primary resource allocation strategy is this: feed what you want, starve what you don't. Everything else is detail. Everything else is noise. Keep your eyes on the vision. Let the problems die of neglect. This is the way. The garden of your life is waiting. You hold the watering can. Choose your roses. Let the weeds wither. The art of starvation is the art of selective nourishment. Practice it daily. Perfect it ruthlessly. And watch your reality transform as you withdraw funding from your nightmares and pour it into your dreams. Chapter 3. The Magnifying Glass. There is a childhood experiment that every generation discovers with wonder. Take a magnifying glass on a sunny day, angle it toward a leaf or a piece of paper, and watch as the concentrated beam of sunlight begins to smoke, then burn, then ignite. The light itself did not change. The sun was shining with the same intensity across the entire yard. But when that light was focused, when it was concentrated through the lens into a single point, it transformed from gentle warmth into destructive fire. This is the perfect metaphor for attention. Your consciousness is sunlight. Your focus is the magnifying glass, and whatever you concentrate it upon will catch fire. Most people do not understand that attention is not merely awareness. It is not a passive acknowledgement of what exists. Attention is heat. It is energy. It is the life force of the universe channeled through the lens of your consciousness. When you focus on something, you are not simply looking at it. You are energizing it, amplifying it, setting it ablaze with the fuel of your observation. This is why obsession creates manifestation. This is why worry manifests disaster. The sustained heat of focused attention ignites reality. Consider a small pain in your body. Perhaps a minor headache, a slight discomfort in your knee, a twinge in your shoulder. If you acknowledge it briefly and move on, it remains small. But if you focus on it, if you direct the magnifying glass of your attention to that spot, what happens? The pain intensifies. It begins to burn hotter. Not because the physical condition worsened in that moment, but because your focused attention is pouring energy into it, amplifying it, setting it on fire with consciousness. You are not discovering the pain. You are creating its magnitude through the heat of your gaze. The same principle applies to every area of life. A minor slight from a friend is just a passing moment. But if you focus on it, if you replay it in your mind, if you examine it from every angle and discuss it with others, you are directing the magnifying glass onto that slight. You are concentrating all your attention onto that single point of offense. And what happens? It catches fire. It burns into resentment. It blazes into a feud. The relationship disintegrates not because of the original slight, but because you set it on fire with your sustained attention. This is the double-edged nature of the magnifying glass. It is a tool of immense power, capable of creation or destruction depending on where you point it. The master understands this and wields the lens with precision. When he has a desire, he focuses the beam. He concentrates every ray of his attention onto the vision of the wish fulfilled. He holds it there, steady and unwavering, day after day, pouring heat into that single point until it ignites into physical manifestation. This is how miracles happen. Not through magic, but through the sustained concentration of consciousness. But the untrained person uses the magnifying glass in reverse. He focuses it on his problems. He concentrates his attention on his lack, his illness, his failures, his fears. And with the precision of a focused beam, he sets those problems ablaze. He takes a small obstacle and magnifies it into an insurmountable wall. He takes a minor symptom and focuses it into a chronic condition. He takes a moment of financial stress and concentrates it into bankruptcy. Not because those outcomes were inevitable, but because he set them on fire with the sustained heat of his attention. The key is to learn the art of diffusion when looking at the unwanted. When you must acknowledge a problem, when you must handle something unpleasant, you do not focus the beam. You diffuse it. You allow your awareness to be soft, broad, unfocused. You see the problem in peripheral vision, handling it mechanically without concentrating the magnifying glass upon it. You give it just enough attention to manage it practically, but you never ever pour the concentrated heat of sustained focus onto it. You do not let it catch fire. Imagine you are walking through a forest. You pass many trees. Your eyes glance at each one, but you do not stop and stare. They register in your awareness, but they do not capture your focus. This is diffused attention. Now imagine you stop in front of one tree and stare at it intensely for an hour. You examine every leaf, every branch, every texture of bark. That tree becomes magnified in your experience. It grows in significance. It catches fire in your consciousness. This is what you do with problems when you obsess over them. You are stopping in front of the tree of disaster and staring until it becomes your entire forest. The master walks through the forest of problems with diffused gaze. He sees them all peripherally, but he never stops to stare. His focused gaze, the magnifying glass of his attention, is reserved for one thing only: the vision of his desired reality. He concentrates his beam on that vision with the intensity of the sun. He pours all his heat into that single point, and eventually, inevitably, it catches fire. It ignites into manifestation. This is not discipline. This is art. This is the art of the magnifying glass. There is a biological truth here that cannot be escaped. Energy follows attention. Blood flows to areas of the body you focus on. Neural pathways strengthen in the brain where you direct your thoughts. Muscles develop in response to concentrated attention during exercise. The body itself demonstrates the law. What you focus on grows stronger. What you ignore atrophies. Your external reality operates on the same principle. The circumstances you focus on intensify. The circumstances you diffuse diminish. This is why meditation is often misunderstood. People think meditation is about clearing the mind, but the real power of meditation is learning to control the lens. In meditation, you practice diffusing your attention away from thoughts, refusing to focus the magnifying glass on any single narrative. You let thoughts pass like clouds, never stopping to stare. This trains your consciousness to control the beam. Then when you leave meditation, you can consciously choose where to focus the lens, where to concentrate the fire, where to ignite your reality. The magnifying glass principle explains why gratitude works. When you practice gratitude, you are focusing the beam on what is working, on what is abundant, on what is beautiful. You are concentrating the heat of your attention on blessings, setting them ablaze, causing them to multiply. This is not superstition. This is the mechanics of amplification. Whatever receives the concentrated heat of your appreciative attention catches fire and spreads through your reality like wildfire. Conversely, complaint is the practice of focusing the magnifying glass on problems. Every time you complain, you are stopping in front of the tree of disaster and staring at it with intensity. You are pouring heat into what is wrong, setting it ablaze, causing it to grow and consume your reality. Complaint is gasoline. Gratitude is gasoline. The magnifying glass does not care what it is igniting. It simply concentrates the beam wherever you point it. You are the one who chooses the target. Now consider your daily practice. Throughout the day, you encounter thousands of stimuli. Some pleasant, some unpleasant, most neutral. The untrained consciousness allows the magnifying glass to wander randomly, focusing intensely on whatever captures it. A negative headline, a rude comment, a body sensation, a worry about the future. The lens focuses, the beam concentrates, the heat pours in, and suddenly that small thing is ablaze in your consciousness, consuming your peace, dominating your reality. The trained consciousness controls the lens deliberately. It makes a vow. I will only focus the magnifying glass on what I want to grow. When the unwanted appears, I will see it with diffused awareness. I will handle it if necessary, but I will never concentrate the beam. I reserve the full intensity of my focus for my vision, for my desire, for the reality I am manifesting. This is the vow of the master. This is the discipline of the magnifying glass. The transformation is immediate once you understand this principle. You begin to notice how often you focus intensely on problems. You catch yourself staring at the bill, at the symptom, at the conflict, pouring heat into them, setting them ablaze in your experience. And in that moment of awareness, you have a choice. You can continue to focus the beam, or you can diffuse it. You can redirect the magnifying glass toward your vision. This choice, made 10,000 times a day, is the difference between manifestation and stagnation. Here is a practical exercise. Choose one desire. Make it clear and specific. Now, throughout your day, whenever you have a moment of free attention, focus the magnifying glass on that desire. See it as already accomplished. Feel the heat of your attention pouring into it. Imagine you are literally setting it on fire with the beam of your consciousness. Do this repeatedly, consistently, relentlessly, and simultaneously, whenever a problem appears, practice diffusion. Glance at it softly, handle it mechanically, but never focus the beam, never pour the heat, never set it on fire. If you practice this for 30 days, your life will transform beyond recognition. Not because you learned positive thinking, but because you learn to control the magnifying glass. You learn to concentrate the beam on creation and diffuse it on destruction. You learn that your attention is not just awareness, but heat, and that heat ignites whatever it touches. You learn to set your desires on fire while letting your problems smolder into ash through neglect. The magnifying glass is in your hand right now. The sun is always shining. The question is, where are you pointing the lens? What are you setting on fire with the concentrated beam of your consciousness? Are you igniting your dreams, or are you burning down your peace? The choice is yours. The tool is in your control. Use it wisely, focus deliberately, and watch as the heat of your attention transforms probability into blazing reality. Our chapter 4, the peripheral vision. There is a design flaw in most spiritual teachings, a dangerous oversimplification that leads seekers into delusion. They are told to ignore problems completely, to pretend everything is perfect, to deny the reality of challenges. This is not mastery, this is madness. The true art is not to deny what exists, but to master where you place it in your field of vision. There is a difference between central focus and peripheral awareness, and understanding this difference is the key to navigating the practical world while maintaining your manifestation power. Imagine your visual field as a stage with spotlights. Center stage is brilliantly illuminated. This is where your central focus lives. Anything you place here receives the full intensity of your attention, the magnifying glass effect we discussed, the heat of your consciousness. The edges of the stage are dimly lit. This is peripheral vision. You can see what is there. You acknowledge its presence, but it does not receive the spotlight. It does not get the heat. It exists in your awareness without consuming your attention. The master knows how to use both regions strategically. When a bill arrives, he does not pretend it does not exist. That would be irresponsible and would create practical chaos. Instead, he acknowledges the bill in peripheral vision. He glances at it, notes the amount and due date, and immediately takes the mechanical action required. He pays it or sets up the payment, but he never, not for a single moment, allows that bill to move to center stage. He never gives it the spotlight of his emotional attention. He never pours heat into it with worry or anxiety. This is the art of peripheral acknowledgement. You see the problem, you handle the problem, but you do not merge with the problem. You do not make it the star of your consciousness. It remains in the shadows of your awareness, while you keep the spotlight firmly on your vision, on your desire, on the solution. The bill is acknowledged, handled, and then dismissed from central focus. The spotlight returns immediately to abundance, to the feeling of financial flow, to the vision of wealth. Consider physical illness. If you have a symptom, ignoring it completely could be dangerous. The symptom may be signaling something that requires medical attention. The master does not deny the symptom. He acknowledges it peripherally. He sees it. He takes appropriate action, consults a doctor, takes medicine, makes lifestyle changes, but he never gives it center stage. He never makes illness the star of his inner world. The spotlight of his consciousness remains on health, on vitality, on the body as he wishes it to be. This is not denial. This is strategic attention allocation. You are acknowledging practical reality while refusing to emotionally invest in it. You are handling what must be handled with the detached efficiency of a business transaction, never allowing it to capture your heart, your imagination, your sustained focus. The problem gets peripheral acknowledgement. The solution gets center stage. This is the balance that allows you to function in the world while maintaining your manifestation power. Most people do the opposite. They place their problems at center stage and relegate their dreams to peripheral vision. The bill, the symptom, the conflict, the lack, these occupy the spotlight of their consciousness. They think about them constantly, feel them intensely, discuss them endlessly. Meanwhile, their vision of abundance, health, peace, and love exists only in the dim periphery, occasionally glanced at with a vague hope, but never given the full heat of sustained attention. This is why they remain trapped. They have the stage design backwards. The practical question becomes, how do you keep something in peripheral vision when it is screaming for your attention? Problems have a way of demanding the spotlight. Pain intensifies. Bills become urgent. Conflicts escalate. This is the death rattle we discussed in the chapter on starvation. The problems attempt to capture your focus. The discipline required here is immense. You must practice what could be called emotional celibacy with the problem. You see it, you handle it, but you do not have a relationship with it. You do not emotionally engage. You remain clinical, detached, mechanical. Imagine a surgeon. During an operation, he sees blood, trauma, the horror of the opened body. But he does not emotionally merge with these things. He acknowledges them peripherally while keeping his central focus on the procedure, on the repair, on the healing outcome. If he placed the trauma at center stage, if he poured emotional attention into the horror of the situation, he would be unable to function. His power comes from peripheral acknowledgement of the problem and central focus on the solution. You must become the surgeon of your own life. This practice is especially powerful for recurring problems. Perhaps you have a chronic financial challenge or a relationship issue that keeps resurfacing. The pattern continues because every time it appears, you give it center stage. You make it the star of your consciousness. You obsess over it, analyze it, emotionally merge with it. This time, try something different. When it appears, glance at it peripherally. Handle whatever action is required. Then immediately return the spotlight to your vision. Treat the problem like a commercial during your favorite show, acknowledged briefly, then ignored as you return attention to the program. The peripheral vision technique is also essential for processing emotions. You cannot and should not suppress feelings. Suppression is just another form of intense focus, a negative investment in the emotion. Instead, you acknowledge the emotion peripherally. You feel it without becoming it. You notice there is anger here, there is sadness here. You let it exist in the periphery of your awareness while keeping the spotlight of your consciousness on your higher vision. The emotion passes through because it is not receiving the fuel of sustained focus. There is an exercise from ancient traditions that demonstrates this perfectly, the practice of the witness. You learn to observe your thoughts and emotions as if you are watching them from a slight distance. They occur in your peripheral vision while you, the witness, remain at center stage. This creates a gap between you and your problems. You are not your anxiety. You are the awareness in which anxiety appears. Anxiety exists peripherally. You exist centrally. This gap is freedom. In practical terms, here is how to implement this throughout your day. Set an intention each morning that your central focus belongs to your vision. Your vision occupies center stage. Whatever problems arise will be handled in the periphery. When a problem demands attention, acknowledge it quickly. Take necessary action and immediately redirect your central gaze to your vision. Do not allow the problem to steal the spotlight. Do not let it become the star of your inner theater. It is a prop, a background element, nothing more. This requires vigilance. The default pattern is to give problems center stage because that is what you have been trained to do. Society rewards problem focus. It calls it being realistic, being responsible, facing facts. But the master knows better. The master knows that keeping problems in peripheral vision while maintaining central focus on the solution is not irresponsibility. It is the highest form of responsibility because it is the method by which solutions are manifested. Here is the truth. Anything at center stage receives your creative power. Anything in peripheral vision receives only acknowledgement. You want your problems to receive acknowledgement but not creative power. You want your vision to receive your full creative force. This is the strategic use of the visual field. This is the art of peripheral vision. Master this, and you can walk through a world of challenges without losing your manifestation momentum. The spotlight is limited. You cannot illuminate everything equally. You must choose. And the choice is simple. Will you give the spotlight to the problem or the solution? Will you place the bill or the abundance at center stage? Will you illuminate the symptom or the health? The problem will always try to grab the spotlight. It will flail and scream and intensify. Your job is to remain the director of your inner theater, calmly ensuring that the spotlight stays where you have chosen to place it. Practice this today. Notice where your spotlight goes. When you catch it illuminating a problem, do not judge yourself. Simply redirect it. Place the problem in the periphery, handle it mechanically if necessary, and return the spotlight to your vision. Do this 10,000 times if you must. Each redirection is a victory. Each moment of maintained central focus on your desire is a deposit in the manifestation account. This is the work. This is the practice. This is the art of peripheral vision. You are not denying reality. You are choosing which reality to invest in. You are acknowledging what is while creating what will be. You are functioning in the practical world while building the visionary world. This is the balance. This is the wisdom. This is how the master walks through fire without getting burned, how he handles crisis without becoming crisis, how he acknowledges darkness without losing his light. Keep the spotlight on the vision. Let the problems lurk in the shadows. This is the way. Chapter 5. The diet of the eye. You understand that your body's health is determined by what you put into your mouth. You know that a diet of processed sugar and chemicals will create disease, while a diet of whole foods and nutrients will create vitality. This knowledge is common. What is not common is the understanding that your consciousness operates on the same principle. Your mind's health is determined by what you put into your eyes. Every image you consume, every scene you witness, every visual stimulus you absorb is either nutrition or poison for your consciousness. You are on a visual diet whether you realize it or not. The question is, what are you eating? Consider the average human's daily visual intake. They wake and immediately check their device, scrolling through a feed designed by algorithms to capture attention through outrage, fear, and conflict. They consume images of war, poverty, crime, disease. They watch videos of violence, arguments, humiliation. They absorb advertisements showing them what they lack, creating artificial desires and manufactured insufficiency. They watch news that reports exclusively on catastrophe, programming them to expect disaster. This is the junk food diet of the eyes, and it is creating spiritual obesity, mental diabetes, and consciousness cancer. Every image that enters your eye enters your mind, and every image in your mind becomes a seed in your reality. You cannot watch hours of violence and expect to manifest peace. You cannot scroll through feeds of poverty and expect to manifest wealth. You cannot consume chaos and expect to create order. The universe does not judge your intentions. It responds to your consumption. What you eat through your eyes becomes the substance of your experience. If you are consuming poison, you will manifest poisoned reality. The master understands this and practices what could be called visual celibacy. He becomes highly selective about what he allows into his field of vision. He treats his eyes as sacred gates, guarded with military precision. He refuses to look at anything that implies weakness, failure, limitation, or decay unless absolutely necessary for practical function. He curates his environment, his media, his social interactions to ensure that his visual diet consists exclusively of images that support his desired reality. This is not about living in a bubble. This is about understanding that you are what you observe. If you observe excellence, you become excellent. If you observe mediocrity, you become mediocre. If you observe poverty, you become impoverished. This is not metaphor. This is the direct transmission of information into your consciousness, which then crystallizes into your reality through the quantum observation principle we discussed. Your eyes are downloading reality software. You must control what gets installed. Practical implementation begins with a ruthless audit of your visual environment. What are you looking at habitually? What is on your walls? What shows do you watch? What websites do you visit? What social media do you consume? For each item, ask, does this support my vision or does it program limitation? If it programs limitation, it must be eliminated, not reduced, eliminated. You cannot afford to poison your consciousness, even slightly. The diet of the eye must be clean, or your reality will be contaminated. The news is the most obvious toxin. It is designed to program fear, to keep you focused on problems, to flood your consciousness with images of disaster. Every minute spent watching news is a minute of investment in catastrophe. The defense is always, but I need to stay informed. No, you do not. You need to stay aligned with your vision. The truly important information will reach you through other channels. But the daily flood of negativity serves no purpose except to lower your vibration and focus your attention on everything you do not want to manifest. Social media is the second major toxin. It appears benign, but is actually a highly engineered attention capture system designed to show you content that triggers emotional reaction. That reaction generates engagement, which generates profit. The algorithm does not care about your well-being. It cares about your eyeballs. And it has learned that negative content, outrage, conflict, and comparison generate more engagement than peace. Every scroll is a gamble with your consciousness. Most people lose that gamble 10 times a day. Entertainment is trickier because it seems harmless. But consider what most entertainment consists of. Stories of conflict, violence, betrayal, struggle. You watch heroes who suffer. You watch relationships that fail. You watch economies that collapse. You are programming your subconscious with these narratives, seeding your reality garden with these storylines. If you must consume entertainment, choose consciously. Choose stories of triumph, of love, of abundance. Choose visual nutrition, not visual junk food. The environment you inhabit is equally important. What do you see when you look around your home? Clutter programs chaos. Dirt programs neglect. Broken items program malfunction. Empty walls program void. The master designs his environment as a temple, ensuring that every object visible to his eyes supports his vision. Beautiful art, symbols of wealth, images of health, objects of quality. His home is a visual affirmation of his desired reality, programming his consciousness every moment he is there. Even the people you look at affect your consciousness. This is not about judgment, but about energetic contagion. If you spend hours looking at people who complain, who live in limitation, who embody failure, you are absorbing that frequency through your eyes. It transfers, not through words, but through visual transmission. The master surrounds himself with people who embody success, health, joy, abundance. Not because he is elitist, but because he understands that he becomes what he beholds. There is a deeper principle here about beauty. Beauty is not superficial. Beauty is high-frequency information. When you look at something beautiful, whether it is nature, art, or a well-designed object, you are downloading order, harmony, and coherence into your consciousness. Ugliness is low-frequency information. It programs disorder and dysfunction. The master seeks beauty in all things, not for aesthetic pleasure, but as a practical method of consciousness programming. He knows that prolonged exposure to beauty creates beautiful reality. This brings us to the practice of the visual fast. Just as fasting cleanses the body, periodically fasting from visual stimuli cleanses the consciousness. This means deliberate periods where you consume no media, no screens, no external images. You sit in nature or in a simple room, allowing your eyes to rest on natural forms or nothing at all. This detoxifies your consciousness from the accumulated poison of previous consumption. The master practices this regularly, knowing that a cleansed consciousness manifests more powerfully. The diet of the eye extends to your own body. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? With criticism and disgust, or with appreciation and love? Every glance at your body is programming your cells. If you examine yourself with contempt, you are ordering more of what you see. If you look at yourself with appreciation, focusing on what is working rather than what is failing, you are programming improvement. The mirror is a tool of manifestation. Use it as such. Here is a revolutionary practice. For 30 days, consume only visual nutrition. Eliminate all news, all negative social media, all violent entertainment. Curate your environment to display only beauty and symbols of your desired reality. Look only at images that support your vision. Surround yourself with people who embody success. This is not restriction. This is optimization. You are putting your consciousness on a clean diet, allowing it to detoxify and recalibrate to a higher frequency. The results will be dramatic. You will notice that your thoughts become more positive without effort. Your emotions stabilize. Your vision becomes clearer. Opportunities appear. Synchronicities multiply. This is not magic. This is the direct result of cleaning your consciousness input. You have stopped poisoning yourself with visual toxins, and your natural manifestation power has been restored. The signal is clearer when the noise is removed. The world will resist this practice. People will mock you for not watching the news. They will criticize you for limiting your social media. They will call you ignorant or avoidant. Let them. They are addicts defending their drug. You are a master protecting your consciousness. You understand that your reality is determined not by what is happening out there, but by what you are allowing in here. And you have decided to allow only images that serve your highest vision. Guard the gates of your eyes as you would guard the gates of a castle under siege. Every image is either an ally or an invader. Every visual stimulus is either supporting your kingdom or undermining it. Be ruthless in your selection. Be vigilant in your consumption. Your eyes are downloading your future reality with every glance. Make sure you are downloading the version you want to inhabit. The diet of the eye is not about restriction, it is about sovereignty. You are taking back control of your consciousness from the forces that have been programming you since birth. You are refusing to be fed poison disguised as information. You are becoming the curator of your own visual experience, ensuring that every image that enters your sacred temple of consciousness is worthy of being there. This is power. This is mastery. This is the diet of the eye. Tassen chapter 6 / compound interest. In the world of finance, there exists a principle so powerful that Albert Einstein allegedly called it the eighth wonder of the world: compound interest. The concept is simple. You invest money. That money earns interest. Then the interest earns interest. Over time, this creates exponential growth. A small initial investment sustained over years becomes a fortune. The secret is not the size of the investment. The secret is the consistency and duration of the investment. Time transforms pennies into palaces through the magic of compounding. This same principle governs manifestation. A single glance at your desire does nothing. A momentary focus creates a ripple that dissolves immediately. But sustained attention, held consistently over time, creates compound interest of consciousness. Your vision begins to accrue power. Each day you focus, the previous day's investment multiplies. The energy compounds. The probability wave strengthens, and eventually, inevitably, it crashes into physical reality with the force of accumulated momentum. This is not mysticism. This is the mathematics of manifestation. Most people fail at manifestation because they are inconsistent investors. They focus on wealth for 5 minutes in the morning, then spend 10 hours focused on poverty. They visualize health for a moment, then spend the day examining symptoms. They imagine love briefly, then spend hours rehearsing rejection. This is not compound interest, this is compound poverty. You are investing small amounts in your dream, while investing enormous amounts in your nightmare. The nightmare compounds faster because it receives more capital. You go bankrupt spiritually while blaming the universe for not delivering. The master understands that manifestation is a matter of attention accounting. He tracks his focus throughout the day with the precision of a financial analyst. How many minutes did I invest in my vision? How many hours did I waste on worry? Am I showing a profit in attention allocation, or am I losing capital to fear and doubt? He knows that small, consistent investments in his desire, made daily without fail, will eventually create a fortune of manifestation, but only if he maintains the consistency, only if he allows the compound interest to work. There is a threshold that must be reached, a tipping point where the accumulated attention becomes self-sustaining. Imagine pushing a boulder up a hill. At first, it requires enormous effort. You push, and the moment you stop, it rolls backward. But if you maintain the effort consistently, eventually you reach the top of the hill. Then the boulder rolls forward on its own, gathering speed, becoming unstoppable. This is compound interest. Your consistent attention pushes the boulder of manifestation up the hill. If you stop too soon, you lose all progress, but if you persist, you reach the tipping point, and manifestation becomes effortless. How long does this take? There is no universal answer because the timeline depends on the size of your desire and the intensity of your focus. A small desire with intense focus might manifest in days. A massive desire with scattered focus might take years. But the principle remains constant. Consistent investment over time creates compound interest. The person who focuses on wealth for 10 minutes every single day without fail for a year will manifest more than the person who focuses intensely for 6 hours on one day and then abandons the practice. This is why routines are sacred. The morning visualization is not just a nice practice, it is your daily deposit into the manifestation account. The evening gratitude practice is not just positive thinking, it is compound interest accruing on your blessings. The midday redirection of focus from problems to solutions is not just discipline, it is portfolio management, ensuring that your attention is consistently allocated toward profit rather than loss. These routines, performed with religious consistency, create the compound interest that transforms lives. The enemy of compound interest is interruption. In finance, if you withdraw your investment before it matures, you lose the accumulated interest. In manifestation, if you abandon your focus on your desire because circumstances look discouraging, you reset the compound interest to zero. You must start over. This is why faith is essential. Faith is not belief in magic. Faith is the commitment to maintain your investment even when the account looks empty. Faith is compound interest in the darkness before the dawn. Consider the person who wants to manifest financial abundance. They begin a practice. Every morning they visualize their abundant life for 10 minutes. They feel the emotions of wealth. They imagine the bank account balance they desire. They do this faithfully for 30 days. But on day 31, they check their physical bank account and see no change. Discouraged, they abandon the practice. What they do not realize is that they were compounding attention interest. They were building momentum in the quantum field. But by abandoning the practice, they withdrew their investment before it matured. They lost everything and must start over if they ever try again. The master would have behaved differently. On day 31, seeing no physical change, he would have deepened his commitment. He would have understood that compound interest takes time. He would have remembered that the most powerful growth happens at the end, not the beginning. He would have increased his daily investment, knowing that he is now building on 30 days of accumulated attention. By day 90, the interest would begin showing visible returns. By day 180, manifestation would be undeniable, but only because he maintained the investment through the dark period when nothing seemed to be happening. There is a mathematical principle here. In compound interest, the growth curve is exponential, not linear. This means the gains start small and then explode. You invest for months and see tiny results. Then suddenly everything accelerates. Your attention has been compounding silently, building pressure in the quantum field. When it breaks through, it does not trickle. It floods. But you must maintain your investment long enough to reach the exponential phase. Most people quit during the flat part of the curve, never knowing they were days away from breakthrough. This is why doubt is expensive. Every moment you spend doubting your manifestation is a withdrawal from your attention account. You are not just neutral in that moment. You are actively transferring capital from your dream account into your fear account. The fear begins compounding instead. This is the great trap. People invest in their vision for a while, then lose faith and invest in doubt. The doubt compounds faster because it is fueled by evidence from current circumstances. Soon the doubt has more compound interest than the dream, and manifestation becomes impossible. The solution is to commit to a timeline regardless of external evidence. Decide, I will invest attention in my vision every day for 180 days, no matter what. Do not check for results, do not measure progress. Simply make the daily investment and trust the compound interest to work. This removes the temptation to withdraw early. You are locked in. And when you are locked in, the magic of compounding has time to work. By day 180, your reality will be transformed, not because of any single day's investment, but because of the accumulated power of 180 days of consistent focus. There is also compound interest on negative attention. If you focus on illness consistently, the illness compounds. If you focus on poverty daily, poverty multiplies. If you rehearse failure every day, failure accrues interest and grows into your dominant reality. The principle works both ways. This is why breaking negative patterns is difficult. You have been compounding attention on the negative for years, perhaps decades. The interest has grown enormous. To reverse it, you must now compound attention on the positive for an extended period, slowly reducing the negative interest until the positive overtakes it. The practice is simple, but demands commitment. Choose your desire. Create a daily routine where you invest attention in that desire. Visualization, affirmation, imagining the wish fulfilled, feeling the emotions of having it. 10 minutes minimum, non-negotiable. No matter what happens externally, no matter what circumstances show, no matter what evidence contradicts, you are investing in compound interest, and compound interest does not care about daily fluctuations. It only cares about consistent input over time. Mark your calendar. Day 1, begin your investment. Day 2, invest again. Day 30, Keep investing. Day 90. Trust the compound interest. Day 180. Witness the manifestation. This is the timeline of transformation. This is how you move from poverty to wealth, from illness to health, from loneliness to love. Not through magic, but through the mathematics of sustained attention. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the manifestation world. Use it, trust it, maintain it, and watch your life transform exponentially. You are no longer a gambler hoping for luck. You are an investor creating guaranteed returns through the power of compound interest. Your attention is capital. Your consistency is the investment strategy. Your sustained focus is the compound interest mechanism, and your transformed reality is the inevitable dividend. This is not faith in the unknown. This is trust in proven mathematics. Compound interest works in finance. It works in manifestation. Invest consistently, allow time, and collect your fortune. Chapter 7. The Thief of Funds. There is a thief operating in broad daylight, robbing you of your most valuable possession every minute of every day. This thief does not break into your home. It does not threaten you with violence. It operates with your unconscious permission, stealing from you through 1,000 tiny transactions that you barely notice. The thief is distraction, and it is draining your manifestation account dry while you scroll, click, and respond to every ping and notification that crosses your awareness. You are being pickpocketed of your creative power in real time, and most people do not even realize they are victims. Distraction is not a minor inconvenience, it is grand theft of consciousness. Every time your attention is pulled away from your chosen focus, you are making a withdrawal from your manifestation account. That notification that just stole 3 seconds of your focus, that is 3 seconds of investment capital redirected away from your vision. That text message that interrupted your visualization, that is a compound interest payment made to someone else's priority instead of your own. That sudden thought about a past argument that captured your mind for 5 minutes, that is 5 minutes of funding transferred to your trauma account instead of your dream account. The modern world is designed to steal your attention. This is not conspiracy theory. This is business model. Every app on your phone, every website you visit, every platform you use has been engineered by teams of psychologists and data scientists with one goal: capture and hold your attention as long as possible. They have studied human psychology, identified your weaknesses, and designed digital traps specifically calibrated to hijack your focus. They are pickpockets with PhDs, and they are emptying your consciousness wallet every time you open your device. Consider the mathematics. You have roughly 16 waking hours per day. Assume you need 4 hours for basic maintenance like eating, hygiene, and essential tasks. That leaves 12 hours of available attention. If you spend 10 of those hours responding to distractions, social media, news, messages, emails, entertainment, random thoughts, you have only 2 hours of investment capital remaining for your vision. And if those 2 hours are scattered, interrupted, and low-quality focus, you have almost nothing compounding in your manifestation account. You are spiritually bankrupt while believing you are busy. The master understands this and practices what could be called monk mode. This is the state of unbroken attention on a single task or vision. No notifications, no interruptions, no multitasking, just sustained, focused consciousness directed like a laser beam toward the chosen target. In monk mode, 1 hour of attention is worth 10 hours of distracted attention. The compound interest multiplies exponentially because there are no withdrawals, no leaks, no theft. The full power of consciousness is concentrated, and miracles become inevitable. Reclaiming your attention requires 3 steps: awareness, elimination, and protection. First, awareness. You must become conscious of how much you are being robbed. For 1 day, track every distraction. Every time your attention is pulled away from your chosen focus, make a note. By the end of the day, you will be horrified by the number. You will realize you have been living like someone who leaves their wallet on the street and wonders why they are always broke. The thief has been operating with your permission because you were not aware of the theft. Second, elimination. You must ruthlessly remove the sources of distraction from your environment. Turn off all notifications except the truly essential. Delete social media apps from your phone. Use website blockers during your power hours. Put your phone in another room when you are working on your vision. Inform people that you will not be immediately responsive to messages. Create a fortress of focus around your attention. This will feel uncomfortable at first because you have been conditioned to be constantly available. But constant availability means constant robbery. You must choose between pleasing others and manifesting your vision. Third, protection. You must guard your attention like a security detail guards a president. Every request for your focus must pass through a filter. Does this serve my vision, or does it serve someone else's agenda? If it serves someone else's agenda, the answer is no. This sounds harsh, but it is survival. Your attention is finite. Your life is finite. You do not have enough consciousness to invest in everyone's priorities. You must protect your capital and invest it exclusively in what serves your highest vision. This is not selfishness. This is stewardship. There is a specific practice that transforms everything. The attention budget. Just as you budget your money, you must budget your attention. At the beginning of each day, allocate your attention hours. 3 hours for work, 1 hour for visualization, 30 minutes for exercise, 1 hour for family. Whatever your priorities are, assign them specific attention capital, then track your actual spending throughout the day. Did you stay within budget, or did you overspend on distraction? This practice creates immediate accountability and reveals where your attention is being stolen. The greatest thief is not external. It is your own mind. Random thoughts, compulsive worries, mental rehearsals of past events. These are internal pickpockets, stealing your focus before any external notification even has a chance. The untrained mind is a chaos of distraction, jumping from thought to thought, funding 1,000 competing narratives with your precious attention. This is why meditation is essential. Meditation is not relaxation. It is attention training. You are building the muscle of sustained focus, learning to keep your attention where you place it, rather than allowing it to be stolen by every passing thought. Consider the practice of single tasking. You choose one activity. You commit to giving it your full undivided attention for a specific period. No phone, no computer, no secondary screens, just you and the task. At first, this will feel nearly impossible. Your mind will scream for distraction. Your body will itch to check something. This is withdrawal. You have been addicted to distraction, and addiction does not release easily. But if you persist, if you practice single tasking daily, you reclaim your attention sovereignty. You become the master of your focus rather than its slave. There is also the theft that occurs through social obligation. Someone asks for your time, your energy, your attention. You say yes out of guilt, fear, or conditioning. But that yes is a transfer of funds from your manifestation account into their need account. This does not make you virtuous. It makes you bankrupt. The master is ruthlessly protective of his attention. He says no to everything that does not align with his vision. He understands that every yes to something else is a no to his dream, and he refuses to betray his dream for the comfort of others. The modern workplace is a distraction factory. Open offices designed to maximize interruption, constant meetings that fragment focus, email systems that demand immediate response, cultures that celebrate busyness rather than effectiveness. If you work in such an environment, you must create attention barriers, headphones to signal unavailability, scheduled blocks of uninterrupted time, clear boundaries about when you will and will not respond. If your employer will not respect your attention needs, you must find a different employer or become your own. Your manifestation depends on it. Here is a radical practice. 1 day per week, practice complete attention fasting. No phone, no internet, no media, no distractions of any kind. Just you, your thoughts, and your vision. Spend the day in nature or in a quiet space, allowing your attention to rest and recalibrate. This practice reveals how addicted you are to distraction. The first time you try it, you will likely feel anxious, restless, even panicked. That is the addiction screaming. But if you persist, you will experience something profound: clarity. Your attention, freed from constant theft, will show you exactly what you need to focus on to manifest your vision. The thief of funds is relentless. It will never stop trying to steal your attention. Every day new distractions will emerge. New urgencies will demand your focus. New crises will bid for your consciousness. Your job is not to eliminate distraction completely. That is impossible in the modern world. Your job is to become so protective of your attention that the thief finds no opening. You guard your focus like a dragon guards its treasure. You allocate your attention capital with the precision of a master investor. And you refuse, absolutely refuse, to allow anyone or anything to rob you of the currency that creates your reality. Reclaim your wallet, audit your spending, eliminate the thieves, protect your capital. This is not about becoming a hermit. This is about becoming sovereign. You are declaring that your attention belongs to you, that your focus serves your vision, and that no one has permission to steal your consciousness without your explicit consent. This declaration, backed by consistent practice, transforms everything. The thief loses power, your account grows, and your manifestation accelerates because your full capital is finally, completely invested in your dream. Chapter 8. The Midas Touch. There exists in ancient mythology the story of King Midas, a ruler who was granted a wish by the gods. He chose the power to turn everything he touched into gold. At first, this seemed like the ultimate blessing. He touched a stone and it became gold. He touched a tree and it transformed into a golden sculpture. But the curse soon revealed itself. He touched his food and it became inedible gold. He touched his daughter and she became a golden statue. The gift became a nightmare because he could not control it. But what if the curse was not the touch itself, but the unconsciousness with which it was wielded? You possess the Midas touch. Everything you look at with sustained attention transforms according to the quality of that attention. If you look at something with love, it increases in beauty. If you look at something with appreciation, it increases in value. If you look at something with gratitude, it multiplies. You are King Midas, but instead of a golden touch, you have a golden gaze. And unlike the mythological king, you can control whether your gaze blesses or curses what it touches. The question is, are you using this power consciously, or are you turning everything in your life to stone through complaints and criticism? The principle is simple but profound. Appreciation multiplies what it observes. When you look at your partner with genuine adoration, focusing on their beautiful qualities, those qualities amplify. They become more beautiful, more kind, more loving, not because they changed, but because your gaze called forth those aspects and gave them power. You invested attention in their light, and light expanded. Conversely, if you look at your partner with criticism, examining their flaws and failures, those aspects amplify. You turn the relationship to stone through the curse of negative focus. Consider your financial situation. You have a bank account with some amount of money. If you look at that account with disgust, focusing on how small it is, on what it lacks, on how insufficient it feels, you are cursing it with your gaze. You are turning your money to stone, freezing it, preventing it from multiplying. But if you look at that same account with gratitude, appreciating whatever is there, blessing it with your attention, you activate the multiplication principle. The universe responds to appreciation by providing more of what is appreciated. This is not superstition. This is quantum mechanics dressed in ancient wisdom. The master practices the Midas gaze deliberately. He wakes each morning and looks for gold. Not literal gold, but the gold hidden within everything he observes. The gold in his health, even if his body is not perfect. The gold in his relationships, even if they have challenges. The gold in his circumstances, even if they are not ideal. He trains his eyes to see value, to find beauty, to recognize abundance wherever it exists, no matter how small. And through this practice of appreciative observation, the gold multiplies. What was small becomes large. What was hidden becomes obvious. What was potential becomes actual. This is the opposite of how most people use their gaze. They look for problems. They scan their environment for what is wrong, what is missing, what is broken. They examine their body for symptoms. They audit their relationships for failures. They inspect their bank account for lack. And through this problem-focused gaze, they curse everything they touch. They turn their health to stone. They freeze their relationships in dysfunction. They trap their wealth in limitation. They are King Midas with his unconscious curse, destroying everything they touch through the quality of their attention. The practice begins with a simple shift. Instead of asking, "What is wrong here?" you ask, "What is gold here?" Instead of looking for problems, you hunt for value. This does not mean denying problems. It means choosing to invest your primary attention in what is working rather than what is failing. The problems receive peripheral acknowledgement if they require action. But your central gaze, the Midas touch of your consciousness, rests only on what you wish to multiply. Look at your body right now. What do you see? If you immediately catalogue your imperfections, your weight issues, your age-related changes, your symptoms, you are cursing your body with your gaze. You are investing attention in decay, and decay will multiply. But if you look for the gold, the miraculous fact that your heart is beating, that your lungs are breathing, that billions of cells are cooperating to keep you alive, you bless your body. And the blessing multiplies into healing, vitality, and strength. The same principle applies to your work. If you look at your job with resentment, focusing on what you hate about it, you curse it. The job becomes more miserable, the challenges multiply, the dissatisfaction grows. But if you find the gold, the skills you are developing, the income it provides, the people you meet, the opportunities it creates, you bless it. And the blessing either transforms the job into something better or creates the pathway to something more aligned. The gaze that blesses is the gaze that liberates. This is not fake positivity. This is strategic attention investment. You are choosing to capitalize the aspects of your life that you want to grow. You are placing your gaze, your Midas touch, on the gold within the mud. Every situation contains both gold and mud. The unconscious person stares at the mud and drowns in it. The master finds the gold and watches it expand until the mud is irrelevant. This is the art of the golden gaze, the culmination of everything this book has taught. There is a practice that accelerates this transformation, the gratitude gaze. Every evening, review your day and look for moments to appreciate. Not major events, small moments. The taste of your coffee, the smile from a stranger, the functioning of your technology, the presence of clean water. You train your eyes to hunt for gold throughout the day, knowing you will be reviewing at night. This practice rewires your observation patterns. You begin looking for gold automatically because you know you will need to find it later. And what you look for, you find. What you find, you multiply. The relationships in your life are the most obvious testing ground for the Midas gaze. Look at the people you love. Are you examining their flaws or their beauty? Are you focusing on what they fail to provide or appreciating what they do provide? Your gaze determines the quality of your relationships more than any other factor. Two people can look at the same partner and have completely different experiences based solely on where they place their attention. One sees gold and lives in wealth. The other sees mud and lives in poverty. Same person, different gaze. This extends to how you look at strangers, at your community, at the world. If you look at humanity with disgust, you will manifest disgusting experiences with humans. If you look at humanity with compassion and appreciation, you will manifest beautiful human connections. You are not discovering what is there. You are creating what is there through observation. The world is a mirror, and your gaze determines what the mirror reflects. If you want a beautiful reflection, give it a beautiful gaze. The ultimate practice is to look at everything as if it is already golden. Not as if it will become golden someday, but as if it already is golden right now and you are simply recognizing what has always been there. Your bank account is already abundant. You are just appreciating the seeds of abundance that are present. Your body is already healthy. You are just acknowledging the health that exists even in imperfection. Your dreams are already manifesting. You are just seeing the early signs that others miss. This is not delusion. This is advanced observation. You are calling forth the gold that exists in potential by recognizing it as already present. King Midas lost control of his gift because he did not understand that consciousness directs the touch. You have the advantage of this understanding. You know that your gaze is the touch, and you can choose where to place it. You can choose to touch things with criticism and turn them to stone, or you can choose to touch them with appreciation and turn them to gold. The power is identical. The choice is yours. Which world do you want to inhabit? The golden world or the stone world? The answer lies in the quality of your gaze. Begin today. Look around your immediate environment. Find 3 things to appreciate deeply. Not surface-level gratitude, deep appreciation. Look at them as if they are miracles, because they are. Your device that connects you to the entire world, your clothing that protects you, your shelter that houses you. Look at these with the Midas gaze, blessing them with your attention. Feel them increase in value as you appreciate them. This is your power. This is your inheritance. This is the golden gaze. Everything you look at becomes what you see in it. If you see limitation, you create limitation. If you see possibility, you create possibility. If you see gold, you create gold. You are not discovering your reality. You are authoring it with your eyes. The pen is the pupil. The ink is attention. The page is the quantum field. And the story being written is the one you are choosing to see. Make it golden. Make it beautiful. Make it abundant. This is the Midas touch of the enlightened observer. Use it wisely. Use it deliberately. And watch your world transform into gold. Epilogue: The Banker's Oath. You have journeyed through the mechanics of manifestation. You have learned that attention is currency, that observation collapses probability, that focus creates form. You understand the art of starvation, the power of the magnifying glass, the wisdom of peripheral vision, the importance of visual diet, the mathematics of compound interest, the danger of distraction, and the blessing of the Midas gaze. You have been given the complete manual for the quantum investment of consciousness. Now comes the commitment. Now comes the oath. You are the financier of your existence. This is not metaphor. This is your actual role in the architecture of reality. You hold the checkbook of consciousness, and every moment you are writing checks. The question is, to whom are you writing those checks? Are you funding your enemies, your fears, your doubts, your limitations, or are you funding your dreams? Are you investing in the nightmare or the vision? The universe does not judge your choices. It simply cashes every check you write and delivers the corresponding reality. Most of humanity lives in spiritual bankruptcy because they have been writing checks to the wrong accounts their entire lives. They fund poverty while praying for wealth. They invest in illness while hoping for health. They capitalize loneliness while dreaming of love. And then they wonder why their prayers go unanswered. The prayers are heard, but the checks are being written to the opposite account. The universe is a perfect accountant. It delivers exactly what you have funded with your sustained attention, not what you wish for, not what you intend, what you actually invest in through the direction of your gaze. The transformation begins when you accept full responsibility for your attention allocation. You stop blaming circumstances, genetics, economy, luck, or fate. You recognize that your current reality is the portfolio of your past investments, and your future reality will be determined by the investments you make from this moment forward. This is empowering and terrifying in equal measure. Empowering because it means you have absolute control. Terrifying because it means you have absolute responsibility. There is no one to blame. There is no one to save you. You are the banker, the investor, the financier. Your choices determine your reality. Here is the oath you must take. I solemnly swear to guard my attention as I would guard my life, for my attention is my life. I vow to be vigilant about where my gaze falls, what my eyes consume, and where my focus dwells. I understand that every moment of sustained observation is a transaction with the universe, and I take full responsibility for every transaction I make. I will no longer write checks to my fears. I will no longer fund my nightmares. From this moment forward, I invest exclusively in my vision. This oath is sacred. It is a contract between you and reality itself. Once you take it, everything changes. You become conscious of your attention in a way you have never been before. You catch yourself funding the nightmare and immediately redirect to the dream. You notice when you are staring at problems and deliberately shift to solutions. You recognize when you are being robbed by distraction and reclaim your focus. You move from unconscious spending to strategic investment. This is the path of mastery. The oath also includes a commitment to consistency. You understand that manifestation is compound interest and that compound interest requires time. You vow to maintain your attention investment in your vision regardless of external circumstances, regardless of how long it takes, regardless of whether you see immediate results. You trust the mathematics of consciousness. You know that sustained focus over time creates inevitable manifestation. You are locked in. You are committed. You will not withdraw your investment before it matures. There is a practice that seals the oath, the ledger. Every evening you review your attention transactions from that day. You write in a journal, where did I invest my attention today? How much time did I spend on my vision versus how much on my fears? Did I show a profit or a loss in my attention account? This practice creates accountability. You cannot lie to the ledger. It reveals exactly where your capital is going. And when you see in black and white that you spent 8 hours funding your nightmare and 10 minutes funding your dream, the wake-up call is brutal and necessary. The banker's oath also requires ruthless boundaries. You must protect your attention from theft. You must say no to distractions, to obligations that do not serve your vision, to people who drain your focus without reciprocation. This will be uncomfortable. People will be offended. They will call you selfish. Let them. They are speaking from their own bankruptcy, unable to understand your commitment to wealth. You are no longer available for their drama. You are no longer funding their chaos with your precious attention. Your gaze belongs to your vision now. As you walk this path, you will notice others are trapped in attention poverty while believing they are being responsible. They monitor news obsessively, thinking they are informed. They worry constantly, thinking they are prepared. They discuss problems endlessly, thinking they are problem-solving. But you know better. You see them writing check after check to their nightmares and wonder why their accounts are empty. You cannot save them. You can only demonstrate through your own transformation what is possible when attention is managed with wisdom. The final element of the oath is gratitude. You commit to the Midas gaze, to looking at everything with appreciation, to finding the gold in all circumstances. This is not about forcing positivity. This is about understanding that appreciation is the highest form of investment. When you appreciate what you have, you tell the universe, more of this. I am investing heavily in this. Multiply this. And the universe, being the faithful servant it is, delivers more of what you have appreciated. This is the golden gaze in action, blessing everything it touches. You are now standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to unconscious attention spending, to spiritual bankruptcy, to a life of wondering why things never work out. The other path leads to quantum investment mastery, to attention sovereignty, to manifestation power. The choice is yours. But understand, there is no neutral ground. Every moment you are investing. Every second you are writing checks. The only question is, to whom? Take the oath. Guard your gaze. Invest deliberately. Compound consistently. Protect ruthlessly. Appreciate endlessly. This is the way of the quantum investor. This is the path of the master. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the financier of your reality. Your attention is your capital. Your focus is your investment strategy. And your manifested life is your dividend. The bank of the universe is open. Your account is active. Begin making deposits into the right account. Stop writing checks to the wrong one. The golden gaze is not a technique. It is a way of being. It is the conscious recognition that you are creating your reality moment by moment through the direction of your eyes. Where your gaze goes, your energy flows. Where your energy flows, manifestation grows. This is the law. This is the mechanism. This is the truth. You cannot escape it. You can only learn to use it consciously or suffer from using it unconsciously. The choice, as always, is yours. You have been given the complete system. The introduction taught you that attention is currency. Chapter 1 revealed you as the quantum investor. Chapter 2 taught you to starve problems. Chapter 3 showed you the magnifying glass effect. Chapter 4 explained peripheral vision. Chapter 5 commanded you to guard your visual diet. Chapter 6 revealed the power of compound interest. Chapter 7 warned you about the thief of distraction. Chapter 8 blessed you with the Midas touch. And now the epilogue asks you to take the oath, to commit, to invest deliberately in the life you were born to manifest. This is your inheritance. This is your power. This is your responsibility. Stop looking at what you do not want. Cut the funding to the struggle. Withdraw every check written to fear, doubt, limitation, and poverty. Pour all your capital into the dream. Hold your gaze steady on the vision of the life you desire. Maintain that gaze through darkness, through challenge, through the discouragement that comes when circumstances have not yet shifted. Trust the compound interest. Trust the mathematics of consciousness. Trust that every moment of sustained focus is building momentum in the quantum field, pressure that will eventually break through into your physical reality with the force of accumulated investment. Where the eyes go, the energy flows. Look only at what you wish to see. This is the banker's oath. This is the golden gaze. This is the economics of quantum observation. You are the master of manifestation. The pen is in your hand, the checkbook is open. Write your checks wisely, fund your fortune, and walk forward into the golden reality that has been waiting for your gaze all along. The third library has spoken. The audiobook is complete. The wisdom is delivered. Now it is your turn to become the living demonstration of these principles. Go forth and gaze goldenly. The universe is waiting for your investment.